Hello and welcome to the championship match of Pro Tour Amsterdam. I'm Randy Buehler, I'm here with Brian Kibler, and we're getting ready to watch the battle between Osamu Fujita of Japan and Nicolai Herzog of Norway. They call Osamu Fujita the Silver Collector. He's got 6 very high-profile top 8s on his resume, 2 individual Grand Prix, 2 team Grand Prix, an APAC championship, and a Japanese Nationals. He's finished second every single time.
That's pretty impressive.
I mean, that's a lot of good magic. That's a lot of high-quality finishes, but second place every single time.
You just want to come home with the trophy eventually. But, I mean, here he's got a shot. This is, as we were saying before the break, this is actually the second individual limited Pro Tour back-to-back that has had a Japanese and Scandinavian player in the final.
Yeah, no Japanese player has ever won a Pro Tour, so Osamu Fujita trying to get that country its first actual title.
And his first actual title.
And his first actual title, it's true. Like,
he wants
how
the gold.
Weird is it that, like, they actually call him the Silver Collector? It's not like we made that up. That's his nickname back in Japan. That's what he's known for. Known for being very good, but never quite winning the title. Meanwhile, taking him on the other side is Nicolai Herzog. Here you get a good look at him. Nico finished second at the last Rochester Draft Pro Tour, losing to Kai Bude. He's got 2 European championships on his resume. He's also got a World Cup on his resume. So been playing a lot of high-quality Magic for the last couple of years. And
I believe this is his 5th top 8?
4th top 8.
His 4th top 8?
No, it's just the 3rd, actually.
It's just his 3rd?
He had the World. He had that one summer.
It's his 5th, including including 8
Euros. European championships, but if you count European championships, then it's Fujita's second. So. Or count Continental championships.
Keep flipping over cards.
Herzog seems very confident. He was actually, right before we came on, he had out a cell phone. He was sending text messages back home to friends in Norway, pointing them to the coverage. Like, he seems supremely confident, very confident in his deck. He seems to think that the matchup favors him. He likes his deck. He's on top of his game. You seem to think he had the advantage.
He's got good reason to think that. I mean, Osamu Fujita's deck, it's a very powerful affinity deck, but I mean, what those sort of decks rely on are their ability to get explosive starts and get their powerful and evasive creatures into play. Nicolai Herzog's deck has a pair of electrostatic bolts which kill every creature in Osamu Fujita's deck.
Every single creature dies to electrostatic bolts.
And yes, except for possibly Lodestone Mirror.
Herzog has also won the die roll,
and
so he gets to go first.
He has Icy Manipulator, which Fujita can never kill. He has Pyrite Spellbomb. I mean, he has Goblin Replicas to kill Crystal Shard and such things. He has Molder Slug. He has Spice Shot Goblin. His deck is just a nightmare.
Leads with a Pyrite Spellbomb. That's pretty good if he's got the red mana to activate it. Herzog seemed to give Fujita's deck credit. He knows it's a very explosive affinity deck, so he figured he might drop a game at some point just because of the sheer explosiveness of Fujita's deck, but he said there's no question in his mind the matchup favors me. I mean,
I think that's a very accurate assessment of the circumstances. I mean, we saw the explosiveness Fujita's deck can muster in the last match in the semifinals against Anton Janssen.
Helgelad Chosen comes down on turn 2 for Herzog.
If Fujita's deck gets the right draw, it can just run you over.
See, now here's Silver Mirror, second swamp and a Silver Mirror. If Herzog's got the red mana, he should just pop off that mirror. That seems pretty straightforward. Does he have the red mana, though? He does have the red mana, but he chooses to spend his 3 mana on Mirrodin Joiner.
I mean, that could mean Molder Slug next turn. So
could. Yeah, he's developing his mana instead of killing the mirror.
I mean, the mana acceleration is very important in this format. I mean, not only in terms of the mana itself, but in terms of how it affects the affinity mechanic. I mean, just like the mirrors count essentially as 2 mana producers,
right?
When they're used to play Mirror Enforcers, Frogmites, and Zombra Hover Guards. I mean, the Mirrodin Joiner is interesting in that in the green decks, most of what you want to do is jump from 3 to 5. You want to start hitting your Fangren Hunters and your Telgelad Archers, and in the case of those of us who are so fortunate, your Molder Slugs, as Nicolai Herzog has.
Fujita taps his 2 swamps, another Silver Mirror, and no 3rd land? No 3rd land. So
that is
2 Silver Mirrors. This seems good for Nicolai Herzog, even if he doesn't have the Molder Slug, just spellbombing away a mirror.
If he has the Molder Slug, dear me.
Yes. We do apologize a little bit for the glare you may be seeing on your screen. The reason we actually had to delay here, some of the players' cards have gotten marked over the course of just shuffling them in 3 rounds, so we felt it was important to make sure nobody could read their cards from the back, had the players sleeve up, and makes for a little glare on the cameras, but the integrity of the tournament has to be more important, obviously.
I don't think Nico has land motor slug, because I don't think that would take that much thought.
Chosen comes over for 2 more.
20, 16.
Drops Fujita to 16. 4 mana.
Himatai Go.
Himatai Go.
Can you do me a
Still
favor? Can you
chooses
get
not.
this
No,
real
no, he
Coke
doesn't have the
too?
land. He may have had the
Shame
multiple.
is that dice.
Doesn't
have
have
yeah.
Still been unable to use that spell bomb. It's interesting how he's actually giving Fujita a little window here.
The scale.
So you a tooth or a scale person?
I mean, I'm actually not a huge fan of either of them. I mean, my preferred draft deck in this format is white-green.
Okay.
So, tends not to have that many artifacts, so the tooth and scale tend not to be the most impressive cards.
All right.
I like to kill my opponents with Raise the Alarm tokens and
Kind of
Chosen and
pop out,
Transfixers. I mean, it is. I think, in general, the scale is more powerful, except in decks with Spike Shot Goblin. I think in decks with Spike Shot Goblin, you certainly want 2.
Okay.
I think in other decks, I mean, just the ability to just win combats. I mean, more so in terms of your opponents attacking into a creature that they expect to be a trade. You scale pump it. I mean, Tooth it's much less common that someone attacks a creature and that can't kill another creature and then Tooth pump it.
Meanwhile,
it certainly happens. Ooh,
wow.
Crystal
So
Shard.
Fujita came up with his 3rd land, and it's a Seat of the Synod. It's an artifact land. Uses it to play Crystal Shard, and now the mirror activates the Crystal Shard. So sends home the Joiner. All of a sudden, and
Frogmite.
free Frogmite. All of a sudden, it's
and a
Herzog
Somber
who's pinched
Hoverguard.
on mana.
If there's a Somber Hoverguard here, that would be nice.
Oh no Somber Hoverguard.
How unlucky.
Suddenly, it's Herzog who's pinched on mana. We know he doesn't have the extra land, so he can't even replay Joiner. It just gets bounced again with the Crystal Shard.
I mean, now things are suddenly looking pretty bad for Nicolai.
I mean, when Nicolai draws land, he probably only needs 1 more land to stop the Crystal Shard from destroying him.
I mean, it's still pretty difficult to beat, just Crystal Shard on
14,
defense.
20.
No, that's fair.
14.
It's a good point. He does have, I think, 3 artifact removal spells.
I mean, two of them are Goblin replicas, so they can take a while to work.
Fair.
Oh.
Tapped out for the Joiner. Oh, no, he's got the land.
Although it does seem strange that he chooses to play is that a forest that he played?
Mountain.
Oh, it's mountain. Okay, I was gonna say.
Yeah, no,
seems
he's
like you want to
threatening
leave your mountain
Spellbomb.
up.
He's threatening Spellbomb, or he can stop Crystal Shard. It sure looked all Herzog in the first couple of turns, but
Now things are starting to gum up a bit.
it's a game. Nurok Familiar. Will he flip over anything good? Islands. Probably didn't want to draw that anyway. So a little bit of evasion in the house now.
And also a creature that can effectively block the Chosen.
True. Good point. Yeah, he can block Chosen, use the Crystal Shard to save his guy.
He
Yeah, he can actually-
he can start going off.
It's a good point. Nurok Familiar,
He can Crystal Shard Nurok Familiar here.
That's a good time.
That's pretty spicy. I mean, he can't really do it all that effectively with the Spellbomb on the table.
But whatever, he
But-
makes Nico Spellbomb a
Yeah.
Familiar. That's actually fine, right?
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
Do you like Nurok Familiar?
I do, actually. Nurok Familiar I think is a pretty underrated card. I think it's in a similar category to Tooth and Scale in that like a lot of people didn't really think it was good,
Yeah.
and then it's actually proven itself to be a pretty effective card. I mean the like I was saying, the fact that it can block the Tel'Gelad Chosen here isn't just incidental. It could be very important in this game, and the blue affinity decks tend to be very vulnerable to creatures like that. I mean, the Chosen, obviously it doesn't have that much impact against the archers, but just being able to trade with the Chosen early, as well as possibly get yourself some an artifact at the top, as well as have an evasion threat. it's not a very impressive looking creature, but it can do a lot. Yeah, things seem to have definitely slowed down here. Both players taking a lot more time to think about what's going on. The board gets considerably more complicated.
Herzog taps his joiner. Got 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. Solemn Simulacrum. That's quite good here.
Yeah, that's definitely a good card for him. He really needs to develop his mana base.
He wants that land to get out from under Crystal
and
Shard.
He'd really like it if Fujita would start Crystal Sharding that guy. Mindslaver, you bounce my yens, please.
So we do get a second Scandinavian into the final.
Yeah, there's 2 Scandinavians in the finals already.
And they're on the same team. Jens Turen, winner of the most recent Magic Invitational, designer of Solemn Simulacrum. Nicolai Herzog, another Scandinavian in this story. Did he just decline to use the shard at all?
That's weird.
I guess he's playing around Spellbound?
Yeah, he wants to protect his familiar, maybe.
Interesting. Familiar's so important to him.
I mean, especially considering he could... it actually, I mean, with the... Is that a Shrieker?
Yeah, Nim Shrieker.
See, that guy is scary. Man.
That is a big flyer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 power? Interesting. Yeah, I think Fujita just declined to use the shard because he wants to be able to defend his Nurok familiar.
I mean, now he certainly wants to defend the Nim Shrieker.
Well, yeah. Doesn't want to open up any Tel'Jallad Chosen losses.
I mean, that's a clock right there. And I mean, as we were saying earlier, Nicolai's deck has no archers. So flying creatures are pretty difficult for him to deal with.
He does have a pair of electrostatic bolts along with the Spellbound.
He really, I mean, really what he needs to do is get rid of that Crystal Shard. I mean, if he draws his Deconstruct, that would be nice for him.
Yeah, Crystal Shard means it takes 2 removal spells from Herzog to do anything. I think Fujita's not going to tap it. He's just going to leave it there defending his flyers.
He's just going to protect it. I mean, that's one of the most powerful uses of Crystal Shard. It's just the threat of it.
4 mana from Herzog. Icy Manipulator.
That can change things. He can icy the Crystal Shard. That's another card we didn't consider.
Yeah, good point.
I mean, he can either icy the Crystal Shard and kill the Shrieker, or he can just icy the Shrieker itself.
Right.
Seems like this turn he probably wants to... it doesn't really matter if any of his creatures get bounced. It's not really scary.
He's got Viridian Joiner mana left anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he has Viridian... I'm saying in terms of using the Spellbomb to kill the Shrieker.
Oh.
I mean, he can tap the Crystal Shard, when Fujita goes into combat, and then Pyrite Spellbomb the Shrieker, which is probably the most efficient use of... If he does choose to try and use the shard.
Alright, Fujita sends in the Shrieker.
Yeah.
Herzog does exactly what you're suggesting. He says Icy Manipulator to tap Crystal Shard, thus lowering the defenses. Should Fujita activate this? Should he bounce something?
I mean, he can use it.
Bounce the Golem?
I mean, it really... I mean...
Sorry?
I looked through his deck like a million times and never can't remember any increases.
It's there.
Did you say he can't remember?
He said he looked at the deck list a million times and did not remember there was a Nim Shrieker. Yep, Fujita bounces the Golem.
I mean,
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, that play makes the most sense.
And then Herzog does indeed Spellbomb away the Shrieker.
I mean, now things are going to be really difficult for Fujita.
Yeah.
With the Icy able to control the Crystal Shard, he's lost a huge advantage that he had a moment ago. I mean, not only can Icy contain Crystal Shard, Icy can just clear the path for his creatures. I mean, he can... Ocean Soldier?
Yep, Ocean Soldier.
I mean, he can tap down the Nurok Familiar, start attacking with the Chosen. And he can just start playing guys and build himself a board advantage.
So quite a pile of creatures on Osamu Fujita's side of the board, but
none of them very impressive.
No,
though.
it's Ocean Soldier, Nurok Familiar, Silvermere.
I mean, that Chosen is holding off the entire team.
Yeah, but one little protection from artifacts, 2/1 on Herzog's side. Herzog has Solemn Simulacrum, Tel'Jallad Chosen, and Viridian Joiner.
And very importantly, Icy Manipulator.
Fujita has Crystal Shard and Scale of Chiskura.
I was talking to our spotter on the floor, and he was telling me that in that last game that we saw Fujita play against Anton Janssen, that his hand at the end of the game was Pentavis Megatog.
Wow.
And if that
two
Pentavis,
different games.
in two games his hand was Pentavis Megatog, and one of those games even the Icy wouldn't have been fast enough. But in that last game, if that had been Icy Manipulator, he would have been able to contain the Mask of Memory creatures. And he really would have just been able to take control of the game very likely.
Interesting. Yeah, that was the pick that Anton Janssen was faced with during the draft. He opened up a pack that had both Pentavis and Icy Manipulator, chose to take the Pentavis, and then passed that Icy Manipulator to Nico Herzog.
I think maybe he was having romantic thoughts of the welder deck that they'd played at the last extended Pro Tour. I mean, won with that one. Wanted his teammate won that one, and he wanted to bring Pentavis back to the spotlight.
Herzog is attacking with his Tel'Julad Chosen. I was okay, that explains everything. Fujita does indeed block with the Nurok Familiar that we sort of knew might happen. Herzog has Predator Strike, so +3/+3 and Trample.
So that deals 2 to the Familiar and 3 to get on the scale.
Yep.
20, 11.
11 to 20? He trampled for 3?
He trampled for 3, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
he dealt
yeah,
2
yeah.
to it.
2 power, sure.
Play the mouse?
2 and 3.
Play the mouse?
No, for the talisman.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Talisman hits the board for Herzog. Seems to have plenty of mana now. We have player profiles posted online for anyone who's interested in learning more about the top 8 players. It's actually a pretty cool editing job they did at the introductions that we had earlier in the coverage, so you can watch those. Listen to us talk about the players. Yeah, these web broadcasts are going to keep going, by the way. Any of you who are enjoying this may be interested to tune in for Pro Tour Kobe next month in February. Timing may be a little better for any of you back in the States. Kobe's Sunday Top 8 starts in the U.S. It'll be Saturday night, prime time, sort of 6 p.m.-ish, so that should be fun. And the plan from Wizards of the Coast is to do these broadcasts for every Pro Tour this year. They will become a fixture of our Pro Tour coverage on the website.
I hope to be on the other side of the cameras next time, or time after that, but if not, I'll very likely be here with Randy.
Osamu Fujita casts Fabricate, and he goes and gets Lodestone Mirror out of his deck. He can make it giant. He's certainly got plenty of artifacts, but Icy Manipulator, once again, shutting it down. His basic game plan is just to overload the Icy, right? Give Herzog too many things to tap, and hope Herzog doesn't come up with anything else exciting.
There aren't that many things that he can play to force him to tap that are really threatening. I mean, he's on a fairly quick clock here. I mean, it's not, it's obviously not really fast, but I mean,
like 6 turns.
Yeah, it's 6 turns, and he has to find some way to deal with it between that and the Icy, and Herzog actually getting draw steps as well.
And there's the mirror.
Not this turn, at least.
I'm sure that Icy's got a new target pretty soon.
He's just kind of shrugged, eh? There isn't really even a way for him to attack here.
Tap the land, yeah.
Oh, tap the land. So Vegeta's all tapped out on mana. Still got his Crystal Shard left, but it can't activate it. Lodestone Mirror is a large potential blocker on the ground, but it's still an artifact, so Herzog can keep sending his Tel'Julad Chosen in.
It's actually kind of interesting that, given the position, it could actually be dangerous for Herzog to play Molder Slug, because Fujita has so many artifacts in the sack, and that leaves the Icy, with only the Yens and the Talisman for him to sacrifice.
Sure.
It could make that Lodestone Mirror pretty scary pretty quickly.
Icy's way too important for him to play Molder Slug.
Although Molder Slug itself can get the job done pretty quickly.
Tel'Julad Exile, so 2/3 Regenerator for Herzog. Did indeed serve with the Chosen, dropping Fujita to 9.
No cards.
Fujita's board just looks like it's got more going on, but there are all these little
they
darks.
just-
Silver Mirror, Yoshin Soldier. Does have the Lodestone Mirror, but the Icy takes care of that. Frogmite.
Yeah, he
Not much going on.
can't really do much here.
Can't
that,
even
that,
attack.
that Chosen just the inevitable march.
How many non-artifact creatures does Fujita have?
Not many.
We've seen the Nurok familiar so far.
He has the Familiar, he has a Nim Shambler, and
We
Hover
saw the
Guard.
Nim Shrieker.
That's actually it. He has a Nim Shambler. Oh, it's actually, that's kind of funny.
What's that?
There's actually no Nim Shrieker on his deck list that we
he,
have
he
here.
mismarked it as a Shambler?
That could be why Nicolai didn't remember the Shrieker.
Oh, we had a typo. Sure.
First.
But yeah, there's 4 total colored creatures in Fujita's deck, and 2 of them are dead.
Icy knocks down the Lodestone Mirror again. Crystal Shard can't do much. There's no blocking, and Herzog's got plenty of mana to keep his own creatures in play. Chosen comes over
Chosen
again.
keeps
Crunch.
coming.
Fujita down to 5.
25.
And the board needed another mirror. Mirror Enforcer. In comes the Chosen. Mirror Enforcer can't do
20,
anything about it
3.
either. Fujita's down to 3.
It just keeps coming. I mean, all those creatures on Fujita's side, they just can't do anything as the Chosen slips by.
Fujita's got 2 turns left. What can he do?
Troll.
Oh, there's one of the giant trolls. Yeah, Crystal Shard. This is actually he's got the mirror, the joiner, and
he's
a
got
land,
the-
so got all the mana
Not much
he needs.
is gonna happen.
Fujita draws again. Bunch of creatures, but Herzog's
Fujita's
sitting
at
behind.
3. I believe our graphic's wrong.
Yeah, Fujita's at 3. Another Frogmite. So many artifact creatures. Herzog can just leave everybody
They're all
home to
so
block except that
useless.
one Chosen. It goes in, chipping away.
And I mean, even if he draws, he has to draw a Radiator Terror. He has to kill it.
20.
Yeah.
Because the Icy can tap down whatever colored creature he draws.
Fujita's at 1. 1 draw phase left to come up with an answer to tell Chulad Chosen.
Another troll. Troll.
Giant troll.
Nothing but monsters.
Chosen has done 19 damage.
Chosen has done all the damage.
All
in this
20
game.
damage. Tell Chulad
Wow.
Chosen. Wow.
1-0.
So Nicolai Herzog takes a 1-0 lead in this best 3 out of 5 matchup. We'll take a real quick break. We'll be back with Game 2 in about 2 minutes. Stay tuned.